No. Okay. JD, I'm going to try. I'm going to push this button at the back, and put the. So are you still there?
Mm.
Are you still there, JD? Oh no, hang on.
Yeah. Oh, he's having technical difficulties.
JD, hello?
Hello?
Yes. Right, I'm sorry. It was me. I've oh dear, I'm in a very bamboozled situation, JD.
You definitely need an engineer.
I need an engineer. I'd taken my headphones off. That's why you disappeared. I was talking.
That's why you can't hear you.
I was talking into the headset.
Yeah, you're going to use your headphones.
I've got the strange idea in my head that. Oh yes, it was because I was talking to you on the other phone.
Yeah.
My other phone went.
Yeah.
Which I needed to hear whether that was the idea of the flashing light telling me that the phone is working.
Yeah.
It's all too much, JD.
It's very confusing in there, isn't it? I know. It took me some time to get used to it. Anyway, it's if they update it, it'd be great, But we have to do what we have to do.
Well, we have to do what we have to do. But I think the wild show with three of us is a lot better, I would say.
Yes, it was. Yes, but we're not allowed to do it, are we? That's the whole thing.
Well,
so
yes.
What we could do, we could have a radio microphone and sit outside. That's one way of doing it.
Yes.
There'd be ways of doing it. But,
yes. But there's still only going to be one person inside the studio who will have to work out.
Yes,
which
one person has to go in there. Yes, that's right.
And a technical, perhaps not a technical, but I mean, all this stuff works eventually, doesn't it?
It does. It depends on which way you want it to work. It took me some time to get used to that studio. It's quite what we call an old-fashioned way of broadcasting.
Okay.
Yes, with a special tendencies. That's what I call it.
Special tendencies. Yes.
Tendencies. Yes. Very, very special.
Yes.
Anyway, the main thing is we connected, and that's good.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Yes. I was contemplating. That's a big word. Sorry. I'm full of big words today. Whether to phone in or not, because I've got my coffee in my hand today.
Oh right.
I'm sorry to broadcast this.
So where are you now?
Yes, but I'm the same place I was last week.
Oh right.
I tend to come out here because it's nice and quiet, and I can pick up Phonic FM on the old wireless.
Yes.
in
yes.
the car, so I can listen to what you're playing and what you're not playing. So it's quite good in the long run.
Right. Right. So were you listening earlier on when Chris and I were talking about our plans?
No, I didn't hear you and Chris because I was out. I have to. At the moment, I'm taking things to charity shops. Trying to give generously to charity shops, which we should do at this time. So that's what I was doing here. There's quite a lot in Exeter, which is great. So that's what I was doing, and then grabbing my coffee as well. So it's quite a lot of things, and it's starting to rain here, which is not very nice.
Oh no!
It's sunny over in one place and raining the next. So it's a bit of a changeable day today. So I haven't been listening. No, trouble is I have to listen to it on my phone. And you get delayed action on it. That's the trouble.
Oh, yes.
Listening on the phone. That's the only problem.
Yes.
So because the wireless is much more direct.
Yes. Well. This may help new listeners as well because it was only half an hour ago, or maybe a bit more now that we were speaking. But you'll remember we had this conversation about the sound rights that Strangled Jim should have in work he's already done.
Yes.
On the Good, Bad and Ugly show. That was reused without his prior permission.
Right.
And all this business about remix and copyright, it's very pertinent and it relates to a lot of different things. And Chris and I were appointed his agent because we had a meeting with him, and we started to negotiate the fees he should be due because the Electric Tour has reused his previous material with some new material and tried to pretend there were new radio shows even in the lockdown. And Strangled Jim didn't know about it.
You can do that on radio. You can make up all sorts of things and say, well, I'm really in Japan or Australia or something like that.
Right.
And you're just down the road. So the imagination on radio is much better, I think, because you have to sit there and imagine people having conversation in a pub or cafe or whatever about the situation.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's well. Let me take you from there then, because no, I'll just mention that you gave your opinion last week or the week before that we shouldn't be Strangle Jim shouldn't be looking to be paid for his rights on all this material, because it's a community station and we should all work for nothing. Station. All that sort of thing.
And if you're helping other people, you don't. I personally don't want to get paid. If I put my wage package into you guys for the information that I've given you, then I'd be a multi-millionaire.
Well, you would, JD. Yes.
I enjoy doing it. That's the thing. It's whether you enjoy. If you really enjoy radio, and you want to join something, it's like I think it's like a clan, really, isn't it? In the way.
Yes.
Then any information you have from your past will help it move on. That's
right.
What I feel is. So I was on hospital radio, and this is how I started, and it would be sort of like a background to somebody else starting.
Well, that's all. Yes. Well, that's all very well, JD. But let me put the problem to you, because Chris is prepared to be in my play. But he did ask the question whether he'd get any reward for being in the play, right. And I've had to tell him that so far that it's a very low level production. It just involves walking about Exeter, looking where the record shops used to be, and having a conversation about what else won't be needed, whether education, for example, could move online, and we won't need the student accommodation or the libraries or lecture play. So that's the content of it. Right. But
so he's going to only pass his only opinion on it, not sort of data and that sort of thing, which he's found out, or
the last time you and I spoke about it, you said it could be a reality thing, so it could be a documentary. But I thought of it as a drama. So he'll have his. I think we'll just ask people to make up their opinions as we go along. I'm not going to write a detailed script for it for moment by moment.
If you're not telling him what to say, and it's coming from him because he wants to say it, then that's Chris is quite good at this, I must admit. So I can feel that it depends whether he feels he's contributing towards something which might get more money from somewhere, which you could put somewhere else, into your show, into the Wild Show, to improve it, whether it's buying more music or whatever, or information from other people. But I personally feel this is a community radio, and I know you guys pay to be in the community radio, but then again, I don't think you should exploit it.
No, we're not exploiting it exactly. But what I thought was, if we made it work as a production at a local level, we could possibly aim at doing a national or a London. I mean, it'd still be local in London, but we could we could do a better production of it, and we could maybe work in some sort of sponsorship or product placement or whatever, because that seems to be how these things are financed nowadays. Because
yes, well, it depends if so say the Beeb or any other of the big stations would like this sort of information from local areas, or the local radio, part of the the Beeb as well. Like the stations which are connected with it. I shan't mention them. Then it'd be a local issue, which would be pretty good for local people. So they get to know their area, because through radio I've learned a lot about Devon, and that sort of thing, and what you guys come up with as well, because you've been here longer than I have. So it's in a way it's which route you would like to take using the radio.
Yes, but we could do it. Maybe there's a station somewhere would pay for a production of some sort of version of it. Because it's kind of local and quite general as well. There's lots of places where music retail has declined, and education is an open sort of question at the moment. So it could be done anywhere. But what
Yes, it could be.
what just occurred to me? Chris has come up with a list of requests which I'm working into the show. And
yes, I saw those.
One of them is a Buddy Holly song, "Oh Boy," and I was struck by that because that's quite an early track for Chris to be aware of, I think. But it's one that he has followed, and when I was thinking about a London version of our walk, I thought it would go from where Virgin Megastore used to be, which is more or less Tottenham Court Road tube station, and go down towards Piccadilly Circus where Tower Records used to have a Megastore. So that if you walk between those two spots, you'd come across quite a lot of places where there used to be retail music. But you'd also come to McCartney Productions, I think it's called, in Soho Square. And they have the publishing in Buddy Holly because Paul McCartney is a fan and wants to promote Buddy Holly. So he does cover versions every so often and slips a few tracks into his live performance. And I just thought if we could work Chris. I mean, I am a playwright of integrity, you understand. But if in the dialogue Chris was walking along and he said, "Oh yes, I think we're near Soho Square. Let's try and find out a bit more about Buddy Holly," and we happened to find an office where somebody knew a bit more information. That's not too far off the theme of the programme, is it? So
no,
maybe.
Well, it's not. If people don't go to London or wherever you go to, and you're bringing that information about music, which is what the station is based around, then it's all well and good. Including, you have to include the sort of local things as well, because some people think, "Oh, I know Buddy Holly and that sort of thing," and they would like to know more information about it. But then again, you can go off the beat a bit too much, I think, in a way, because you want to say that's what he ate his last meal or whatever, because that's quite morbid. So you have to put it in sort of perspective and reality, really, in a way. So if you were going to feature a couple of tracks on your programme, you could talk about him.
Right. Well,
so it's fitting it in, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, look, JD, everything you say about how to produce the programme is making sense, but I'd just like you to carry on thinking about it.
Yes, well, I do all the time. So when I listen to the radio, and I listen to a song which I haven't heard before, but it was related to another artist which I used to like, then I do actually diverse off the path and listen to their music, and then I criticise it in myself. That is, not to anybody else, whether I really do like that sort of music or their style or whatever, because bands do separate out and they all go their separate ways eventually, but then they do their own sort of music, their own style and everything, and it's whether you like it or not. That's what I feel.
Well, yes, that is absolutely right.
Yes, it's like the Beatles and that sort of thing. The people pass away, but they're still carrying on, and whether we like their solo music or not, that if it's different, sometimes it's probably better, or if you've grown up with them being four in a group, then it isn't. That's the whole thing. It's whether you appreciate it. I think music comes to people in different ways and different times, and emotions come a lot into it, I think.
Well, yeah, memory as well. When you first heard it, or
where you were when certain person played that song there, and what you were doing. It's like, my career or my what I've done, it's been on sort of hospital radio, where that is very, very much so. People request things because it brings happiness to them in a very sad time.
Yeah, no, that all works.
Yeah, so if you're describing somebody's life, in London, which probably I didn't know that they lived in London, or they something like that. It's interesting information in the long run if you are a big fan of that particular band or artiste.
Yes, yes. No, we can work on that sort of basis. Well, and if somebody in London wants to do a similar show, they certainly can. I mean, it's all going to be Creative Commons as an approach.
Well, it would be really good and very high if you actually got an interview with the person. There you go. We are one-upmanship.
Well, yeah. Well, we won't get an interview with Buddy Holly, but we might get somebody in Soho Square to talk about the publishing operation or something like that.
Well, there are famous people down here in Devon where Phonic FM is. So you can get by a lot of things. If you got, for instance, if you want to know things about the Beatles, there's a chap called Tony Bramwell who used to work with them, and he puts so much stuff on Facebook, which is really good, because things I didn't know, and that sort of things, because he was actually with them. So he's spreading that sort of music around again, even though that my mother couldn't stand them, and that sort of thing. So she always tried to get me to listen to something else. But then again, I said, no, I'm going to make my own decision, whether I like it or not, please.
Yes. Well, yes. Well, that would be another thing. I mean, even if we do a sort of low-level Exeter version of this performance, we can have guests.
Yes.
And
yes, we could do.
We
just need we want a safe place where we can interview people, at this particular bad time in the year, where we can go and interview them very quickly for about 10 minutes and get a lot of information and make a show out of it. And that's what I will call the art is making a show out of whatever you're producing with. Could be anything.
Well, the idea of it is that it all happens just walking along. So, but you can recreate that in a studio. You can have other spaces.
You can put little things in it. Yes, you could do it as a trip from A to B, and you say where you come across where this artist used to live, and you either put a bit of music or an interview or whatever you can find, because it sparkles out the whole thing of just two people like us talking together. Oh,
yes.
Somebody's bibbing behind me, sorry.
Oh.
Well, it's nothing to do with me.
No, that's all right. You're not causing an obstruction or anything.
I'm in my lovely parking space looking out at the sea.
That's all right.
With the sunshine out now. I do... Sorry?
Yeah, well, you can stay there. You can stay there.
I can stay here as long as I want to.
Yes.
Probably have my lunch here.
They can sound off their horns, but you can ignore them.
Yes. Well, it's because it's well away from everybody, and it's it's great. And so I'm down at Exeter if people want to know where I am, but I won't be answering the phone calls.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Apart from this one.
No, right. Well, that's fair enough.
It's the same thing, you see, if you take a mobile phone out and you describe what's happening around you, it brings the reality of reality to fictional, doesn't it, in the way? So like your walk, if you walked along and say, look, there's a grasshopper over there, or there's a kangaroo over there, I'm in the wrong country. But, it makes it easy, fun listening, and
yes.
People take in more than if you just spouted out a whole load of mathematical equations to me.
Yeah, yes.
So they were going one ear and out the other.
Well, yes. Yeah, so Judy, in this play, I have it in mind that you might be a set designer or a stage manager, or something like
furniture.
That. Yes, furniture. Giving it a bit of physical reality.
Right. Okay.
So
we can do that. Yeah.
So you've got various tasks around the city, because it's set in 2 or 3 years' time, when the pandemic is either over or more or less under control, or less of a threat.
It has, yes. We've got to say to the listeners, the reason why we're doing this is because of the pandemic, and it has hit poor old Exeter in a big way. And I personally have been ill this year, and I don't want to get ill again. So this is why I'm a few miles down the road, phoning into the studio. So we all have our own reasons why we don't do these sort of things, but the overall outlook of the whole thing is we try and broadcast as much as we can.
Yes. Yes,
so
that's...
we're looking for you to be broadcasting from your attic straight into the system.
Yeah, well, we'll work on that as well.
Yeah, that is the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but JG, if I can just stay with my play just for a moment more, because you're going back to reality, which is fair enough. We should go back to reality every so often.
Yes, I think so. But you do have fantasy as well. People have fantasies, but they don't. You've got to have a mixture of the two. Well,
yes, but I think at some point, if you sort of start off with the idea of myself, Chris and John Mayhew from We Not Know on a Monday afternoon, walking about, you would be one of the people we would meet, not every week, but occasionally.
Yes.
And you are a stage manager, set designer sort of person, because there's all this space in the city. I think some of the retail will be in need of a redesign. Put it that way. I mean, it may come back, just the same space is needed, but it'll be in a different sort of way.
Yes.
And it'll be a bit more theatrical, a bit more of a demonstration site. I imagine something like that.
You can make it comical. Yeah,
right.
People, yes, if it's a joke thrown in or a sarcasm thrown in or whatever.
Right.
Because then people they think it's not all, shall we say, technical stuff. As I call that technical stuff. It's like when I do my programs, I try and think of a joke in between a song and another song.
Right.
So that people think, oh, he said that joke or he said that, which was quite funny, before that song. So they remember that song.
Yeah, that sounds good. So you're saying make it as light as possible?
Yes. Don't make it too heavy, too technical, but just a light thing. If you're doing, as I said, if you're doing a walk, it's quite nice because you say, well, we're passing a house and somebody's having a swim in their swimming pool or something like that. It's down to earth.
Right.
Stuff,
right.
Which is what radio needs, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
Okay. Well, look, we'll carry on.
Okay.
We'll carry on working about on the sort of local.
Keep working on it.
Local low budget one, and
yes, very low.
You as the producer, just keep an open mind about how we could move into a larger version, possibly, some point in time.
Well, as I said, we need the equipment to do it, and that's what we need.
Yes.
Somewhere. That's why I always said that if Exeter had a walk-in studio which you can go and use and record something, we had all the technical stuff, it'd be fantastic because there's so much radio going on there, disabled people, and it'd be great. Chris could go in, do a bit for his show, in his own time, and then walk away. You see, so and then he still has the copy as well for later on. So it's making the facilities for what's happening because there's quite a lot of radio stations in Exeter and around it. I'm sitting up here and I can pick up at least 10 in different forms. So yes, light is the word, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how much reality we can get to.
Yes.
As well, but we can imagine it.
Yes, but that's what the listener has to do. A lot of imagination in trying to think of something, because like I was on a hospital radio where I was broadcasting to the older people, older generation, should we say, which are much older than me. So I had to step out of being young to being old to imagine, what they're going through. And that was quite a clever thing to do. I was taught that, so that's why I can, when I'm talking to somebody on any of the radio stations I go on, I've got that in mind all the time. It could be an older person, or it could be a younger person listening. So you've got to cater for all of everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
So JD, is there any sounds you would like to hear? I'm not going to go on till 12, but I'll try and fit in a tune or two if they've got something in mind.
Well, I always used to like a group called Level 42. I've
Yes.
seen them concert twice. So how about the track called Running in the Family? You'll find that on your computer.
I will look that up.
Yes, that will be fine. If you don't play, that's fine. You know, it's quite nice to have a song played. Okay, but that is a bit of my past.
Right.
And I've been to many of their concerts, so therefore that's always been included in my program.
Okay. Well, it won't come
Right.
up. It won't come up straight away. I'm going to play Green Day.
No. Whenever you want to.
Right.
I'll leave the radio on, and I'll turn it up full blast, and you probably might be able to hear it from Exmouth. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay then, mate.
Okay. Bye,
Talk to
JD.
you.
Bye.